When the artists of General Motors style section saw the new Chrysler with its high, pointed fins in 1957, they were shocked. The boldness and dynamism of the competitors' lines forced them to reconsider the entire development program for the General Motors model, especially for the flagship brand, Cadillac. If the 1958 model year car was just a slightly modified version of the previous one, then in 1959, America saw a completely new Cadillac, fully justifying its purpose, to outshine Chrysler. Later, the 1959 Cadillac would be called the apotheosis of the Aero style, but at the time, it was just a market novelty that was enthusiastically received. The main factor in the model's success was its extravagant appearance. The wide, low body looked not bulky but rather elegant. The car's face was distinguished by its severity, thanks to the well-placed double headlights with a visor above them. The dual fog lights were positioned lower in the bumper, forming something like a first floor. The panoramic windshield was more inclined backward compared to the models of the previous year. But the most noticeable novelty in this Cadillac was, of course, the tail fins. Enormous in size, they soared upward from the rear fenders. Each was pierced by a pair of pointed lights, imitating the tongues of flame bursting from the nozzles of a jet plane. The speed characteristics of the Caddy were also impressive. Under its hood was a carbureted V8 engine with an unimaginable displacement of 6.4 liters, producing a whopping 325 horsepower. The car weighed over 2 tons and could reach speeds of over 180 kilometers per hour. The 3-speed automatic transmission Hydromatic had become standard equipment for Cadillac by this time, as had power steering and brakes, air conditioning, and power windows and seats. The interior was trimmed with Cardiff Sky and Florentine leather. Fuel consumption was impressive, but with the cheap gasoline prices of the time, no one gave it much thought. The fuel crisis would hit the USA only in 1974. The variety of body styles satisfied all tastes and needs of buyers, as the car was based on a powerful X-shaped frame, allowing for the construction of convertible and hardtop bodies without central pillars. The cheapest model was the two-door hardtop coupe, priced at $4,892. Following that were the four-door hardtop sedan with 4 or 6 windows, priced at $5,080. The most expensive was the convertible, priced at $5,455. These 4 variants were designated as the Series 62 and were easily recognizable by the Cadillac crest on the front fender below the molding, as well as the absence of any additional inscriptions. More luxurious cars in the Series 63 had the additional designation de Ville, a chrome inscription sedan de Ville or coupe de Ville on the side moldings at the ends of the rear fenders. The Series 63 cost $500 more than the base Series 62, but did not include a convertible. Even more highly valued was the Eldorado. The hardtop Coupe Seville cost $7,401, as did the famous convertible Biarritz. The power of the Eldorado's engine was increased to 345 horsepower, with a maximum speed of 200 kilometers per hour. These cars could be recognized by the Eldorado inscription at the very bottom of the front fenders and the absence of side moldings. The most exclusive was the Eldorado Brougham, priced at $13,075. These cars were assembled in Italy by the coach builder Pininfarina. A total of 99 such Americans were made, using the chassis with the standard wheelbase of 3,302 millimeters. Their American counterparts, The 9-seater sedan and the limousine on the long wheelbase of 3,797 millimeters were designated as the Series 75 and received bodies from the firm Fleetwood. On the sides of these cars, there was a vertical relief stamping in the form of an air intake, and the trunk moldings ran the entire width with the inscription Fleetwood. The overall length of the car was 6,223 millimeters, a long-tailed dinosaur with a transverse partition in the cabin. These were bought by those who wanted to demonstrate their high status to society: politicians, financiers, and Hollywood stars. Without the partition, they were used by hotels and rental agencies. Such a car was driven only by a hired chauffeur. The Cadillac company offered customers 24 color options for the body. The names of the colors were as extravagant as the car itself: Kensington green, black sandal, organ blue, even metallic. And now you're probably waiting for the story about Elvis Presley's pink Cadillac, but he never owned a 1959 Cadillac. At that time, the king of rock and roll was serving his mandatory military service in Germany. The first secretary of the CPSU Central Committee, Nikita Khrushchev, was so impressed by the Cadillac during his visit to the USA in 1959 that upon his return, he ordered the ZIL automobile plant to create a similar car. As a result of restyling the previous model, the limousine ZL 111G and the convertible ZL 111D appeared, resembling the 1959 Cadillac from the front. The Soviet Cadillac turned out to be a long-lived model. It lasted until 1969. The lifespan of its American predecessor was shorter. With minor changes and modernizations, the 1959 Cadillac model was produced for 5 years. Gradually, the body lines became straighter, the angles sharper, and in 1965, America saw a new, completely rectangular Cadillac with vertical headlights. But that, as they say, is already a completely different story.